Meta AI is the personal AI to help you with whatever you need. Plus, it meets you where you are. Not only is Meta AI now an app, but it's also on the apps you already know and love: Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Messenger. Plus the Ray-Ban Meta glasses. It's easy to access wherever you are. So whether you're talking or texting, Meta AI is convenient to use throughout your day. Experience our newest AI that's tailored to you by downloading the Meta AI app. Try the Meta AI app today on the Apple App Store and Google Play.
Imagine this: the best pasta sauce you have ever tasted sits abandoned on a plate. Wasted sauce. That is a tragedy. If only you had used Barilla al Bronzo pasta. Its bronze-cut texture holds your sauce and scoops up every last drop. The Italians call that scarpetta. Capture sauce the Italian way. Barilla al Bronzo. Click or tap the banner to find out more.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
Hey everyone, welcome to this edition of Keep Watch Pass on the It's Not That Bad podcast channel and a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. Are you ready to feel old? I want you to feel old because misery loves company. But do you feel old when I tell you that the Three Amigos, starring Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, and Martin Short, is 39 years old, turning 40 next year. It was released in 1986. And we decided, my lovely wife Carrie and I, Carrie, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
We decided we were going to take a little bit of a fun spin this week on the show. Now, in 2 days' time, we're going to be releasing our review of The Three Amigos because for some reason the critics suck and that movie actually qualifies. But we decided to take a little fun twist on our Keep Watch Pass game today. Normally we pick 3 films and whatever kind of thing. We're not doing that this week. No. It's our show. We make the rules. So here's what we're going to do today. We are going to imagine ourselves as casting agents. We're going to hypothetically cast a Three Amigos remake because, let's be honest, Hollywood has completely run out of ideas of the original variety, and Three Amigos I'm sure will probably end up being remade, and we'll probably sit here and gripe about how it doesn't, meet up to the original, but that's for a show for another day if that ever happens. But the concept, and Carrie brought this concept to the table, and I think it's a brilliant one, is who would you cast in a modern day, released this year or next year, Three Amigos remake? So instead of Keep Watch Pass, we have a Lucky, Dusty, and Ned. Lucky Day being the role that was played by Steve Martin, Dusty Bottoms being the role that was played by Chevy Chase, and Ned Niederman, the role played by Martin Short. And we're going to start with Lucky Day. So Carrie, in your modern day Three Amigos, who would you cast in the role of Lucky Day?
I was thinking that I would love to see Keanu Reeves as Lucky Day.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Sell me on this. How are you seeing this?
Well, first of all, I think Keanu can do anything.
Well, yes, you're all right, but go on.
So that was an easy sell. But you know what? Very much the leader, kind of the Matrix smart, maybe John Wick presence, the humor from Ted. From Bill and Ted.
Oh, I was about to say from Ted. I'm like, no, that was Mark Wahlberg with the teddy bear.
Not the teddy bear Ted.
No.
Bill and Ted.
Because you put Keanu Reeves in Ted, that's a very different movie.
That is a very, very different movie. No, you know what? I think he has the humor and he has the presence.
I think if you put Ted from like Bill and Ted Face the Music, because then you have a bit more of a mature, bit more aged, bit more wise. Like, you don't want strange things are afoot at the Circle K Ted. You don't want Surfer Ted. I think you want that. Even as much as I wasn't a fan of the film, I don't think you. I think that version of Ted would work in that role. But it'd be interesting because people wouldn't expect it out of Keanu, right? He's been doing all these John Wick films and whatnot, and it's like, no, I want the Keanu Reeves that comes out on stage saying, "You're beautiful." That kind of Keanu Reeves.
But you know what? He has the funny bone.
Mhm.
I mean, he was the uncredited dog in the Alex Winter Freaked movie.
Right.
And you know what? I mean, Keanu can do anything. He played the freaking bale of hay in the SpongeBob movie. Like, he can do anything. And you know what? I think he fits very well with my other two picks. And that's mainly why I picked him.
That would be interesting too, because it's one thing to sit there and say, well, let's put Keanu in there. Because let's be honest, anyone can sit there and say, let's put Keanu in there. And they'd probably be right because Keanu can do anything. But I'll be curious to see who you put around him. For my lucky day, I'm going with Jason Bateman.
Oh, you know what? I actually thought of him. I gave him a ponder. So that's interesting.
Right? I mean, keep in mind now this is going to be much more relevant when you see who's cast around him as well. But let's be honest, Jason Bateman, I think, could pull off kind of what Steve Martin did in the role, where it's a bit more serious, but definitely a bit more on the comedic side as well. Bateman's funny as hell.
He is so funny. I think he could definitely pull it off.
But remember, too, that Lucky Day comes across as more of like the businessman of the three. And I think if you're going to put someone in that, the leader, the businessman kind of role, I think Jason Bateman might be a perfect choice for that. And you take a look at films like Game Night, or maybe not his role as one of the commentators in Dodgeball, but like even in Hancock, even though it's not a comedy, it's not even really that good, but he kind of has that presence on camera. But I think Game Night's probably the perfect example of what he could do given a role like Lucky Day. So in the role of Dusty Bottoms, alongside my Jason Bateman, I put Vince Vaughn.
Oh, wow.
Because you want someone who's going to be able to kind of play the oblivious role, play the, not necessarily dumb, but definitely not necessarily all there, and kind of roll with those punches and be able to deliver some of those lines. And I think Vince Vaughn would be able to do that in that role. You're looking at me like I'm on crack.
I just don't know if I could see it.
Now, keep in mind too, in the original Three Amigos, like there's a scene where they're sitting around the campfire and Ned's having problems sleeping, and then they start singing whatever the song that they're singing is, kind of thing. And finally Ned starts to fall asleep, and she was like, look at the little guy, right? So they're clearly playing Ned as the younger member of the group, and how, Lucky and Dusty are kind of the same age. Jason Bateman and Vince Vaughn come across as the same age. So I think those two would pair well against each other.
You know what I like about Vince Vaughn is he always starts out as kind of that unlikable loser, unlovable loser. And as the movie goes on, you tend to warm up to him and kind of see like a softer side, a kinder side. And even if he is playing an ass, you warm up to him. He's kind of like the anti-hero that you want to see win. And I kind of think Chevy Chase, not that he ever played an ass, but I think that, if he was supposed to be like all the women flock to him and he's kind of completely oblivious, he also has almost kind of a smarts about him, or like, eventually you warm up to his naivety, and it's almost like it's not his fault. He's just a simple he's a simple actor, right? Like, but he becomes likable.
I think there are certain jokes from the original film, and I was trying to kind of put those jokes into the actors' mouths. And there's that scene where they go back to Santa Poco, and the village has been burned down, and They're like, there's nothing for you here. I could see Vince Vaughn being like, well, did you find these cufflinks that I like? That would be very much a Vince Vaughn kind of joke. Because like, I'm not saying you want to like mimic this word for word and line for line, but I think a lot of those kind of Dusty Bottoms humor moments would work well given a Vince Vaughn delivery. So who do you have in the role of Dusty Bottoms?
I have Tom Holland as Dusty Bottoms.
Really?
Yes, I do.
As Dusty?
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Spider-Man. You know what? I think he has the acting chops. He could totally do it. I want to see him do comedy.
Mm-hmm.
I like the scenes where he throws a little bit of humor in as more so Peter Parker.
Yes.
Like when he's playing himself and not in the role of Spider-Man. You know, I think he could do it.
And the thing is, Tom Holland, I don't think takes himself too seriously. Anyone who has seen the Lip Sync Battle TV show and saw him do Umbrella, complete with the rain and the same Rihanna outfit and performing it in front of Zendaya.
Again, because he's a performer.
Yes.
I could totally see him like doing a lot of the musical numbers. Now, granted, maybe I would switch them a little bit, but you know, because Chevy Chase was the pianist.
Yes.
He never really did the dances. It was more Steve Martin and Martin Short.
I know. You know why? Do you know how I know? Because Tom Holland is my Ned Niederlander.
Oh, no. Holy moly. Okay, interesting.
But yeah, no, because you take a look at what Martin Short did, right? With the dancing around, with the hopeful optimism, with the skill set that Ned would bring. Tell me Tom Holland wouldn't slay in that role.
Okay, Tom Holland would not necessarily slay in that role.
Oi.
Because I want to see Timothy Chalamet. Because, okay, first of all, he has the theatrical, he has
they're
the
not playing
presence.
twins, you know.
You know what? I want to see a movie with those two boys because I swear to God that they are the same guy.
Quite possible.
That the Dune movie, I swear, in the previews, I was like, oh, look, that's so cute. Tom Holland and Zendaya are in the same movie. But no. But because they look so similar, I thought I need to see them matched up on the same film.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe that they're not the same person. But also because of his theatrical experience. I think that he could really pull it off.
Yeah, and you know what the funny thing is, too? Every now and then an actor needs a tonic. And Tom Holland himself, he had finished playing, I can't remember what the movie was, so bear with me here, dear listeners. I have a brain like a sieve, so I'm just going to talk it out, and if you know the movie, just shout it out, but then remind yourself that you're shouting at your stereo, okay? So maybe don't shout out too loud, especially not at work. People will look at you weird. Tom Holland was doing a film, and it was apparently a very, very, like a heavy role, like a lot of emotional weight. And this is around the time when he was like, oh, I'm going to take a break from acting for a little bit, just kind of decompress. A movie like Three Amigos is maybe the kind of tonic an actor should kind of jump into and just be able to have stupid, silly fun. Like, not every film has to be the weight of the world is on your shoulders. Let the boys cook. Although that being said, I say boys. Vince Vaughn, I was flip-flopping in my Dusty Bottoms. That sounds really weird to say.
It does kind of a little.
When you realize and you say that sentence out loud and you stop and go, those words came out in that order out of my mouth. And I'm sorry they did, but I'm not sorry they did. Anyways, it was either going to be Vince Vaughn, who I wrote down on my list, or Kate McKinnon.
Ooh.
Who says you can't gender swap this thing? Now, I don't know if I would do a full gender swap because I don't want to pull a Ghostbusters Answer the Call, but let's be honest, Kate McKinnon was the best part of Ghostbusters Answer the Call. No question about it. And Rough Night. She was hilarious in Rough Night. You tell me Kate McKinnon wouldn't pull off all those Dusty Bottoms comedic lines with just that, not necessarily manic energy, but just like pure comedy gold.
Ooh, how about new idea? What if we were to do the Three Señoritas?
Okay, Three Señoritas. Okay. So
join us next week.
Okay, so just off the top of my head here, as I mentioned, Kate McKinnon as Dusty Bottoms. In the role of Lucky Day, I would probably put Anne Hathaway. Because believe it or not, Anne Hathaway can be funny, can be very funny. And then in the role, I guess, of Ned Niederman, or I guess however you want to rename their, who would I put in that role? Oh, no. Yeah. Kate Micucci. Kate Micucci would be fantastic in that role. That's just off the top of my head. Or Kristen Milioti. Kristen Milioti would be really good too. You throw a curveball at me, I'm going to start naming off actors and see how it goes. All right. Before we go, Gary, remind our listeners who your 3 picks are for a modern day Three Amigos.
I can't even believe I'm recasting, because there is not a thing that I would change about the Three Amigos. This is my disclaimer, and I stand behind it. The 3, Steve Martin, Martin Short, Chevy Chase, they are and forever should be ironclad. They should not be changed. But if I had to recast the Three Amigos of today, here we are 40 years later, as Lucky Day, I would put Keanu Reeves leading the charge. I would have Tom Holland as Dusty Bottoms. And for Ned Niederlander, I would put Timothy Chalamet. Love Adam Sandler for that.
For me, for Lucky Day, I would cast Jason Bateman. For Dusty Bottoms, I would cast Vince Vaughn. And for Ned, I would cast Tom Holland. Although if you were going to throw a gender swap one at me, in the role of Lucky Day, I would cast Anne Hathaway. In the role of Dusty, I would cast Kate McKinnon. In the role of Ned, I would cast Kate Micucci. Gary, thank you so much for this. And remember, stay tuned, because in 2 days' time, we're going to be dropping a review of Three Amigos. So hop along, grab your horse. We're going to go on a little adventure into New Mexico.
My little buttercup
has the sweetest smile. Yeah, no. Sorry. Sorry, dear listeners. We held off as long as we could until the singing starts. And like, they're not going to see that.
Turn and huh.
Also, never go turn and huh on an audio only podcast. They're going to wonder if if you're checking for a hernia or something.
Those who know.
Those who know, and those who don't are probably right now saying, has someone done a wellness check on the people over on Keep Watch Pass? Because I think they need a wellness check. Dear listeners, you guys know the drill. If there's a topic that you want us to cover on Keep Watch Pass, or a movie that you want us to cover on It's Not That Bad, hit us up on social media at Not That Badcast, or drop us a line on our website, notthatbadcast.com. And while you're there, make sure you check out our music shows. There Can Only Be One and Spin, Shuffle, Skip. Until next time, she's Carrie, I'm Jay. You guys are awesome. This is Keep Watch Pass on the It's Not That Bad podcast channel, and a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. Take care, amigos.